PDC Challenge Tour, Bad Medicine, Adam Huckvale. We now introduce a former PDC Players' Championship winner and World Match Play finalist. He's the former Winmore World Masters and Lakeside World Champion, the Prince of Wales, Richie Burnett.
Welcome back to the action here in Gibraltar. A League of Legends on the list of players appearing in this evening session. It will close with a two-time world champion in Adrian Lewis, also former world championship finalist Mark Dudbridge is going to be on that stage tonight. The former Players' Championship winner Paul Nicholson, former World Cup finalist Barry Bates, multiple major winner Robert Thornton in the next match, and a former World Master and World Champion kicking off the action tonight, Richie Burnett, taking on a bit of a newcomer to the Pro Tour, plying his trade on the Challenge Tour, mostly Adam Huckvale. Won one of those events recently and made his debut on the European Tour not too long ago in Holland too. He's qualified for this and the Danish Open and has shown a few signs of life when he appeared on the stage last time out. We'll be hoping to get a bit of experience and maybe threaten one of the greats of the game. Starting off this evening session with me, Chris Murphy. In the commentary box is Rob Malarkey.
Yeah, thanks very much, Chris. Yeah, Richie Burnett, the Prince of Wales, a two-time PDC World Championship quarter-finalist, and also a man who won the BDO equivalent in 1995. A World Match Play finalist as well in 2001. A man also making his second European Tour appearance of the year at the age of 51. 24 years his junior is Adam Huckvale, who, as Chris said, made his European Tour debut in Zwolle, also qualified for Copenhagen as well. Finally claimed a PDC title last month at Challenge Tour 12. And a man who had some good runs prior to that this year as well, but now the player known as Bad Medicine has finally won one, and he's certainly developing a taste for qualifying for the Euro Tour as well.
If you weren't with us this afternoon, we've seen Michael Barnard beat Krzysztof Ratajski in the very first match of this year's edition of the Gibraltar Darts Trophy. Darius Labanauskas put in a very good performance against an equally impressive Jeffrey de Graaf, with the Lithuanian winning through. Brendan Dolan beating James Wilson in a match where both players are out of sorts. Also wins for Mike D. Decker, Andy Bolton, Hannes Schneier against a home nation qualifier in Roy Asquez, and Steve West beating Tony Alcinas before Ross Smith defeated Jamie Lewis in something of a surprise result in the last match of the afternoon session.
Yeah, it was a little bit that. Ross Smith coming through that one 6-3, the man who recorded the last ever 9-darter on the European Tour here in Gibraltar almost 5 years ago, and he still has an opportunity this weekend to emulate that one to the nose. Anyway.
Here and now, Huckvale has thrown a dozen darts and left himself 16. Very tidy start indeed.
Yeah, and Richie Burnett, that very recognisable style.
Show on the first leg, Adam Huckvale.
In evidence in the first leg, but it's Huckvale who takes the opener. Very assured manner as well from Huckvale. 27 years old. Came through qualifying with wins over Keegan Brown and Bradley Brooks. As Burnett rattles in the first 180 of the match. Richie Burnett coming through his qualifying campaign with wins against John Henderson, which was a very notable win, and also Matt Edgar by 6 legs to 3.
Yeah, two players who've played some good stuff this year, so good wins for Richie Burnett. The menu to follow this appetizer for the evening, or the next match is a meaty affair, isn't it? Robert
60.
Thornton against Christo Reyes.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Then we'll see Barry Bates against Vincent van der Voort. Nicholson takes on Anthony Lopez, one of the home nation qualifiers, probably the best known one in the field this year. Then Mark Dubbridge against Max Hopp, winner of the German Darts Open. Jermaine Watermaner against Tony Dawkins, another host nation qualifier.
140.
And then a real standout tie that we've all picked out today, Rob. Chris Dobie against Steve Lennon before Adrian Lewis takes on debutant Clayton Otten.
140. Richie Rico 121.
Yeah, former Gibraltar youth champion, a man who declined the invitation to the World Youth Championship a few years ago. Had to withdraw.
Richie decided to go down for treble 17, and then he looked at Huckvale's score and realised he didn't need to go for the bullseye. In fact, made a real mess from that position.
94.
Yeah, Burnett in the frame here, the favourite to take this leg. 76 away. Double 8 away. Well, that's a very neat sided check out for Richie Burnett. 94 to level things up.
The start in the treble 20 was in the Dolan corner, wasn't it? Saw Brendan Dolan fire a few darts into that top left.
97.
The treble bed. Richie Burnett, one of the most unbelievable throws, really. We saw that 180 hit earlier on, and the final dart, I mean, it looks almost as if he's got a bit of invisible string attached to his mouth, and his head yanks forward when he throws the dart.
It's a very uncomfortable looking style, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't advise that at home, if you know what I mean. And
96.
A lot happening. It's not just the head. He kicks out like a mule.
There's a bit of...
So last start, really. The first two, there's a slight progression to the animation of Richie Burnett's throw, but the last start usually is, like you say, raising the arm in the air. Mind you, sometimes he feels like putting his hands up in the air. Huckvale having a shake of his head there. Not sure what that was about. He's made a very strong start to this match for a man who's only playing for the second time on the European Tour. Very different feel to his first appearance, of course. A packed house in the event in Zwolle,
where he was up against local player Jermaine Watermaner, who had a good run that weekend. Once again making it through to the final day. He struggled, had Watermaner, to do that, but he's done it a couple of times now. And he's here this weekend as well.
Down to 118, Huckvale after 12 darts.
And no pressure here from Burnett either.
59. 118.
So 6 darts for Huckvale from 118 to re-establish his lead.
94.
Did appear in the UK Open back in 2015, Adam Huckvale, but it has been very recent that he's become a little better known to darts fans. Did in a handful of
60.
Players' Championship, well, Pro Tour events, including the European Tours.
Well, he won't want to be detained too much longer because Burnett is lurking on 128, and Huckvale does indeed take it down on double 3.
To throw first. Game on.
And we talked about
109
the incentives for players like Adam Huckvale this year, with the offer or the reward of the incentive of 2 places from the Challenge Tour for the expanded World Championship at the end of the year. Straight into that field of 96. And he's had a good time of it so far in the main on the Challenge Tour this year.
140.
Yeah, having had his first taste of European Tour darts, he couldn't wait to get back, could he?
100.
You know, he was saying that himself, and then he straight away went and qualified for the next two.
Huckvale it was who ended my dominance on the pool table
60.
last night as well, just outside the hotel. 5 matches unbeaten, and there it was, he beat me on the black, which I left over the pocket for him. That was my downfall.
59. Review 121.
Did you have any big name scalps in that run?
Richie Headhouse was probably the biggest one. You know, a man who's beaten Michael Van Gerwen in the not too distant past. I've beaten him at pool, admittedly, so read into that what you will.
Well, a different Richie here.
93.
Looking to take out a big finish. Not going to happen, but he's got time on his side. Fancy being down the line of Richie Burnett, taking a pool shot if his action's similar to his darts.
Yeah, the cue ball could go absolutely anywhere. Anyway, Burnett here for parity once again, looking at double 7. It's just inside. He's just seeing where Huckvale is. He's on 225, so
Thinking of splitting it, is he?
that might be going through his mind here. He's having a good think about it anyway.
No score.
And after all that, he's busted his score anyway.
He kind of won't mind coming back for 28 again, but does he dare to split if he goes inside this time? I would say probably not.
You require 28.
Now some pressure is being applied. Find out.
Almost a carbon copy, and he has come inside, and he's absolutely furious with himself as well.
No score.
If he doesn't like going for double 7,
102.
you may as well have guaranteed that dart a different target.
Oh, just.
Because he only had one dart in the visit, well, 2 darts in the visit anyway, 1 after the 14 was hit. Now, have another go, Richie.
Oh, you feel this has to go. He's gone outside this time. That's a step in the right direction. And this time he finds it, and he just about gets away with that one.
To throw first. Game on.
Missed start at tops for Huckvale for a 3-1 lead, as it is, 2 apiece, and on we go.
86.
One of a strong Welsh contingent here this weekend, although we already saw
49.
Jamie Lewis depart the tournament this afternoon, but Richie Burnett, of course, Barry Bates is in action, and Johnny Clayton will be in the field tomorrow.
190.
As Huckvale fires in a max. That's his first of the match.
140.
Yeah, good response by Burnett. He needed that, just to keep himself interested in this leg.
Well, aside from the messing around on the doubles in the previous leg, both players have been pretty strong on throw, and if that trend continues, then Huckvale will run out the winner.
Oh, he's left himself the biggest finish of the loss. If he does get the 2 treble 20s,
170.
he doesn't need to be too aggressive. Let's see if he can get those 2 treble 20s. No, he can't. And he needs to just tidy this up as best he can.
76.
And that'll do.
Well, could have gone for the bullseye with the last dart there and guaranteed himself at least a dart at the bull.
60. Adam, you require 94.
As it is, he needs to find a treble unless he went double-double. Has found a treble, but not the double, and it allows Richie Burnett a chance.
Yeah, Richie Burnett took out that 94 checkout in leg 2. Huckvale didn't there, but Huckvale will be back.
Ever animated, Richie Burnett. Doesn't leave
97.
much to the imagination. Wears his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah.
You've shown the 5th leg, Adam Huckvale. 6th leg, Richie to throw first.
Well, his finishing today, Huckvale, when he's got into positions, has been, by and large, very effective. Hasn't dawdled too much. Certainly not as much as Burnett has.
He's now managed
100.
to equal his previous best legs tally on the European Tour. a small sample of one match, but he'd be looking to
51.
make progress at every turn. This is the kind of thing that
95.
he would have been dreaming of, an on-stage match against a former world champion. And should he come through it, he will take on the wizard Simon Whitlock, the former European champion, a man who's played in World
100.
Championship finals in both codes of the game. A Premier League star this year too.
60.
Well, a chance here for Huckvale to perhaps wrestle the darts over, especially with a first start like that as well. Maybe just room for one more in between. Yes, there is.
140.
He's asked the question here of Richie Burnett. He's only 36 behind, but if he doesn't find a treble, it's certainly advantage Adam.
So far he hasn't.
100.
Oh, no, second dart was in. I thought it was just above the wire, but there you go. But still a chance for Huckvale if he can post something significant here.
Well, 110 would be a much better finish,
Nah.
but, well, it's left a finish, despite the bounce out, but
You require 146.
two trebles for the outer ring for Richie. If he can't do it, it's two trebles for the bullseye for Adam Huckvale.
100.
Well, this would be
170.
devastating for Burnett if Huckvale were to take out this one. Ooh, just a slight deflection off that first dart, and he knows it as well.
Yeah, that was very, very unfortunate. It was a good line, and he's pinned the ball too.
Just for good measure, just a little statement of intent there from Huckvale perhaps, but Burnett here looking at tops. He's got two darts in hand at it as well for parity once again, three apiece, and that clearly means a lot to him as well. Once again he was in danger there.
Game on.
Yeah, a roar from Richie. Huckvale said to him, look pal, I would have taken that out, but for a bit of bad fortune. And he's on song.
190.
Well, he's enjoying this. There's no doubt about it, Huckvale. He looks very settled. Burnett always, I mean, at the best of times, Burnett always looks a bit
60.
rattled anyway.
Yeah, but the last two or three visits to the board have been very, very strong from Adam Huckvale. The problem is the bit in between was where Richie Burnett cleaned up the leg.
100.
We see that quite often in this game. A player can be seemingly on top, yet you look at the scoreline and they're behind, or in this case, level. Huckvale, in
100.
terms of the average, he's around 10 points better off than his opponent.
$95.
And closing in here in leg 7. Unless Burnett can find a big response here.
140.
Still glaring at it as if to say, how did that not go in? But it is at some 40 for Burnett. Treble 19 would have left the bull.
Yeah, not sure whether he would have
86.
gone for it. With Richie Burnett not on a check-out, but having
Pinged it.
gone that route, you think he might have done. And yeah, as you said, he's had a bit of practice, didn't he? Just a free shot in the previous leg.
100. Adam, you require 40.
Well, we've had 6 consecutive holds. Make that
You've
7.
got the 7th flag, Adam Huckvale.
Yeah,
Huckvale
it's-
continues to stay strong on
Richie
throw.
to
He does.
throw first.
He could do
Game
with
on.
a strong leg against the throw. He's had some big visits, but he could do with something more tangible on the Burnett throw here. As
140.
Richie makes a fairly solid start to leg 8 as well. Very, very little sign of either player cracking on their throw so far.
80.
Once again, Huckvale puts points on the floor.
Yeah, more sense than one.
Just bubbling up nicely, this one as well, to the climax of the opening match of the night.
60.
Huckvale looks to me the more confident of the pair. I guess it's going to be a battle of confidence versus experience.
83.
Yeah, I think that's what it'll boil down to.
Hasn't let the legs that have gotten away fluster him.
60.
And this would be the perfect time to break as well if he could summon one up. It would leave him throwing for the match at 5-3.
A couple of trebles would again ask a question of Richie Burnett.
96.
The Welshman is still the favourite in this leg. Can he move across right to left and fill it up?
He could well do.
140.
This would make life very interesting. And
109.
just overtakes Burnett
101.
with a timely 180 on the Burnett throw to leave him on 62. However, Burnett has hit the treble 20 with his first dart, 41 away. Double 16 for Burnett for 4-4.
85.
And it's just inside the wire.
Well, this is the chance, isn't it?
62.
The 180 has earned him the opportunity. 62, is it one dart? Is it two darts at double?
Thought he was going to go treble 10.
Just the one then, and it's a double top. And he's just, for the first time in the match, taken a moment for himself because he knows how big this is. And he's up to it.
On the A flag, Adam Huckvale.
And it is the timely break. It comes in the all-important 8th leg, and it means that Huckvale is now throwing for the match with a 5-3 lead. And, well, Burnett looks like a man who's seen his family dog run over in the driveway. He looks absolutely devastated. He's pacing around, he's muttering to himself, he's shaking his head. He looks as though the whole world is against him. And Huckvale is all smiles after that single 5, but he's back on track with the treble.
Thought he was just going to walk off then, Richie Burnett.
Well, he had that 6-5 defeat by Darren Webster in Graz in the second round. That ended his campaign in the Austrian Darts Open.
But it's inspired him.
140.
Once again, he can't believe that final dart. Questions everything, doesn't he?
Yeah, we'd like to get a mic on Richie Burnett, wouldn't we, during these games? I'm not sure if we would.
140.
Yeah, maybe Ofcom would have something to say about that.
I guess it's frustrating for a man who,
59.
in his heyday, was one of the best players in the world. There are those who say that for a year or two, he could have been regarded as the best player in the world.
56.
The mid-90s.
Has made the semi-finals of one of these European Tour events in the past. That was at the European Open in 2012.
140.
First objective here, though, is to make the second round in Gibraltar. Huckvale on 220. Burnett on a bogey number as he looks to win one of the 3 legs he has to win to keep his campaign going here.
70.
Yeah, it's a bit of bad board management because if he'd gone a different route, 2 trebles would have left him a finish. However, he would expect to return with whatever he manages to leave.
42.
Well, he's left himself Shanghai on 20s.
142.
Be somewhere to finish the job. Is he going to look at a couple of treble 17s? That was what he was doing. That dart was at 25 to try and
96.
Square it off.
120.
Richie Burnett shaking his head. Can't believe that he fired in a treble 20 last start. Well, there's something you can do about it, Richie. You can hit one yourself, but he can't even hit the single, and that means the chance has gone.
And that means Huckvale will return looking at 46.
44. Adam, you require
Yeah, really
46.
below par visit that from Richie Burnett. He needed something. As it is, Huckvale 2 darts at tops for a 6-3 win, and Adam Huckvale has won his first match on the European Tour. It was a defeat last time out for the 27-year-old in Zwolle, but here in Gibraltar, it's a winning start for Adam Huckvale. He beats the former BDO world champion Richie Burnett by 6 legs to 3. And he goes through to face Simon Whitlock in the second round tomorrow. A good way to start off the night, a good story developing here. It'll be interesting to see that match tomorrow. Huckvale, I think, will give Whitlock plenty to think about in that one. And we'll grab a quick word with him now. Thornton Reyes on the way as well, don't miss that. That's one of our standout matches of the evening.
Adam.
In the meantime, here's your first winner.
In PDC darts. How's it feel? Incredible. Incredible. I don't know what to say, because I felt really comfortable, really comfortable, and the doubles were going, and excellent support at the front there, boys, lads I know, so, and everybody as well. Thank you very much.
You're playing well on the Challenge Tour, the second tier. You've had a few cracks at this Euro Tour stuff now. You feeling more confident, more able to play your proper stuff in these sort of surroundings?
Yeah, because I think the way the PDC have this Challenge Tour set up, it works perfectly for players who are playing well on that circuit, because then we get an opportunity to play European qualifiers, Players' Championships, and I've shown that I know what I can do, and I'm finally showing it on the stage now, so long may it continue.
How far can you go this weekend?
If I win 6 legs every match, I can win it, can't I? But it doesn't mean I will, but, you know, one game at a time.
Adam Huckvale, one game at a time, a potential Gibraltar Darts Trophy champion, it would appear. Congratulations through to round 2.